Hi, Ghosties. I'm Macy.
And I'm Natalie.
And Natalie's really getting into the spooky mood with her nails.
I am. I have French tips on this hand with a little ghost.
Post a picture. Post a picture up here.
If I can, if my fingers don't look weird. And then this side is black French tips with a little black cat. So I have ghost cats.
They're so cute.
Thank you. I was very happy yesterday.
I like them. And it's the perfect addition to our stories today. We've got another set of listener stories. And it's a good one.
They're always a good.
They're always good. But this is,
say.
I don't know. I love them all.
Yeah, me too.
That being said, if you have a story you'd like to send to us, you can email us at ghostespod@gmail.com. It's also written down in the description. Our tea today is Bigelow tea, pumpkin spice.
Yes, and it smells literally
pumpkin-y.
It smells like October.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I'm not a big pumpkin fan, but I think I'm going to like it.
Neither am I.
So, yeehaw. Let's go. What does that taste like?
Spice.
No. Yes, pumpkin spice, if you will. No, I know that there's something that I really like that tastes just like that, but
is it nutmeg?
I don't know. It's like a treat, a fall treat.
Oh.
I mean, obviously pumpkin spice, but there's something in there that it just literally bursted in my brain like, you like this thing. So that being said, the tea is good.
It's good, yeah.
It's really good.
I'm more of an apple fall person than I am a pumpkin fall person, but it's still solid.
We should have done this one with our guest tomorrow.
Yeah. She would have liked that.
She really would have. But we've already recorded that one, so
say lovey.
Sorry, guest.
Our first story today comes from Dominik. Hello, my name is Dominik, and I've been listening to your podcast for a little over a month, and I'm very excited to be able to share this story with you too. I was around 13 when this happened, so possibilities of me misremembering this are very limited. In my old bedroom, I'd always hear strange noises coming from the top of the roof, so I was also very confused, yet a bit terrified. They would disturb my sleep and make me paranoid. The noises kept on happening for years, but one night, I heard something I'll never forget. As I lay down to sleep, I covered myself up to my chin, like any other scared child would do. I closed my eyes, but remained awake for far too long. Yet something inside me told me to keep my eyes closed. I kept them closed, and as the minutes passed, I grew more and more anxious. It was late at night by that point, meaning dead quiet. Nobody would come into my room at such an hour. Then I heard something right beside my ear. A breathing. A very heavy, alarmed breathing. It inched closer by the second, and then it stopped. I felt the presence of somebody truly close to my face. My eyes remained closed until the breathing stopped and the presence I felt went away. It was truly one of the most horrifying nights I've ever had. It isn't as bad when I tell it, but I was dreadfully horrified after that. No, Dominik, I'd say it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, that's still
a nightmare.
That's still up there for me. This morning, dude, we were supposed to record this morning.
Oh yeah.
But when I was like, all right, we'll just do this later, I tried to go back to sleep. I'm not one that has a hard time going to sleep. I don't know what it was, but I was just up. And I was like trying so hard. I was closing my eyes and trying so hard to concentrate on sleep that it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason I was scared. And I don't know why I was scared.
I had multiple nightmares last night.
Did you?
Yeah, when I woke up to the alarm this morning, and I had said it really, really loud.
Mm-hmm.
And so it like shot me out of bed. I woke up from a nightmare, like something bad was about to happen, and it shot me out of it. And then when I went back to sleep after you said, just later tonight, I had another not as intense, but very drawn out nightmare.
It's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
Very up and down. I feel like every time we're like, huzzah, things are great, it's just like another dip.
Well,
but then
that is life.
That means next week there's going to be another peak. So it's always that to look forward to.
Well, Dominik, I'm sorry that you experienced this, and I hope you never, ever hear anything like that again. Just honestly, the sound of breathing in my ear late at night anyway, if I know a person is sleeping next to me or not, is like...
I would be mad, overstimulated, but
yeah,
that, I wouldn't come back from that.
Sensing they're close to your face and you can't open your eyes.
I wouldn't be able to come back from that.
Anyway, thank you for sending that in. That really was really scary. Our next story is from Unsigned, so Anonymous.
Ooh.
Hello, Macy and Natalie. I've been listening to the podcast for about a week and binge watching almost every episode. I have quite a few stories, and I hope you share these with the listeners. Story 1. This story isn't so much about a ghost, but more about intuition. I grew up in Southern California, and we always had fire season. Though this day didn't seem like a fire type of day, I was in middle school getting ready for the day, and for some reason, I packed a bag, thinking I would need to evacuate. As the day went on, I could see a big black cloud near my house. I was freaking out, and all the other students said it was just a control burn. I knew in my heart that I needed to leave. There was no explanation for how I knew there would be a fire that day, but I knew I needed to pack a bag. Very weird to wake up and just know, like in your heart, there will be a fire near my house today.
Horrifying, but what a gift. That's a really good gift to have.
Yeah. Story 2. My uncle passed away in 2016. A few days leading up to his death, I had a gut feeling that something wrong was going to happen within the family. My family is pretty big, though, as I have 7 uncles, 16 cousins, and all my cousins' children, so I couldn't pinpoint what family member it would be. But I knew in the following days something would happen. Call me crazy all you want, but after a few days passed, I didn't hear anything. My older cousin was in law school and taking the bar exam, my uncle's kid. So his mom and aunt decided not to let the news out until a week after he passed. So she knew that my cousin would pass the bar exam. Another cousin called me to tell me the news, and I was shell-shocked. I asked my cousin what day it happened, and it was 2 days after I had that weird feeling.
That is horribly sad, but
again, just your intuition, like telling you.
It would be really helpful if you could determine what that is. That's always something that bothers me, because I'll get feelings, but I'm like, but what is it about?
Yes, but, I mean, is that something that's kind of like, it's already going to happen and there's nothing you can do to stop it?
Dude.
You know, like, is fate already set in that way?
I sent you a video today because I was going to ask you your opinion on that, because a lot of people believe, like, your story is written, what's going to happen in your life has already been pre-planned, but then there's people that, you know, either pray or they do, like, manifesting, things like that. Is that working? Is that, like, are we doing that for nothing? Or is our story not set? Can we sway our story? Or are there infinite different paths that our story can take? Like, that really blows my mind.
Yeah. I think I'm in the second camp.
What? That the story's written?
No, the story is not written. Totally. Like, maybe you have an outline,
but not a clear path.
It's kind of like, you ever play those games or read books or
Episode? You've never played Episode?
Yes, I have. Sorry. It took me a second to understand what you were saying to me. I thought you were talking about a TV show's episode. And I was like,
no.
On.
The game.
Where the story's written, but each decision you make leads you down a path. And so it can change the trajectory of where the story ends.
Yeah. You think
I feel like maybe it's that way. Like, you have an outline, you have, like, but every decision you make can lead you down a different path.
Yeah. But just because you get those feelings, like, you can't really do anything about it. You're just knowing, like, hey, this is going to happen.
But my point is, are you meant to do anything about it? You know? Or is that just something that it's just something you have?
Obviously,
you know?
with the uncle thing, you couldn't have done anything about it.
That's not what I mean.
But with, like, the fire, like, were you supposed to say, hey, there might be a fire? Or were you just supposed to pack your bag? Huh. That's a big thought.
I'd like to know what other people in the comments think too. Like,
yeah.
what do y'all think about that? Do you believe that our story is already written, or do you believe each decision we make has an impact on the outcome of our story? Also, when you have intuition, so part 2 of the essay question here,
give us full sentences.
Yes, MLA format. If you have this intuition, is it meant to just be something you know? Is it a,
like, why?
A whisper from the spirits? Or is there a reason that you're finding this out?
That is...
Or does it depend on each situation? It's a long one. You can send your essays to ghosteaspot@gmail.com.
That is an insane question, and
yeah, it's a lot.
My brain doesn't have the capacity right now. I'll get back to you in a couple days after I've slept.
Well, then we'll move on to story 3. This goes along with my uncle. A few years after he passed, I was going through a tough time in my life as I was getting a lot of diagnoses and other things. But one night while sleeping, I had a dream that I still vividly remember. Mind you, this happened over 6 years ago. At first, the dream seemed utterly normal. I don't know the beginning of the dream, but I remember one of my friends coming up to me saying, "Hey, your uncle's over there." Even though I have other uncles, I knew what uncle they were talking about, and I told them there's no way. I instantly started running, and I was in a jungle. My uncle loved the garden, so to me, it was just another clue that who I was thinking in my dream would be my uncle. I ran into his arms and instantly started crying my eyes out. In my dream, he didn't say anything but hugged me, letting me know everything would be all right and that I did not need to stress about anything. At that moment, I felt a sigh of relief, and once I woke up, I felt tears in my eyes. My uncle hasn't visited me since, but sometimes I still feel his presence.
Lovely. Lovely. Y'all know I would love to just do another Visitation Dreams full episode.
Okay. By the way, it's confirmed. December is Listener Story Month. And so I will put that as a theme because I agree.
We need something lighthearted and happy. I was talking
Awesome.
to our Mimi yesterday, and she started to say, "Why don't y'all do something more positive with angels?" She goes, "Wait, it's not my podcast. I have no say, whatever." And I was just like, "No, we can do something positive for you." So she requested a positive episode.
We will do positive for Mimi because she's an OG.
She is.
Story 4. This one takes place from 2004 to 2006. I was very young at the time. I don't quite remember telling my mom this. Still, she always tells me that I would say to her that I like my other mommy better. And she would always ask me, "What do you mean you like your other mommy better?" I would tell her I had another life. She never wanted to pry, so it took many weeks and years for her to get it out of me. But I told her that in my past life, my dad had shot my mom and killed her. I told my mom about my siblings, and I would name them by name. There were a lot of siblings I had, but none of them were in English or Spanish. She would ask me to repeat them months later of my siblings' names and the encounter of my mom being shot in my past life. I would tell her the same thing with all the exact details, sometimes more each time. Still, it was never make-believe because I never changed the original story. I just added more as I've gotten older, though I don't remember my past life now. Still, I do remember little me feeling the pain of my lost family. Please let me know if you'd like to hear more stories. Also, you guys should do an episode on the Whaley House in San Diego.
We did do that one, so this was probably sent a very long time
Prior
ago.
to that, yes.
So I hope you liked that one.
We're still in October, early October of 2024.
Good Lord.
Yeah, we're making our way.
We're going to be we're going to have to do listener stories until we're like 87.
That's fine.
But
past life stories, that's another one I'd like to do another too, because we have a lot of like past life reincarnation listener stories. So that's definitely already a theme too.
Would love. We can do that as our New Year one again.
Yes. I literally today I was planning that out and I already put that there. Yeah.
I find it very interesting that who is this?
Unsigned.
Oh, I find it very interesting that Anonymous has all of these things. Like they're very in tune, very just like one with
themselves
nature and themselves. Yes.
The things around them.
Yeah. Because, visitation
especially
dreams,
on a spiritual realm.
Past life, big intuition about great big events. Like that's very interesting.
I love that. And I'm intrigued by it. Mm-hmm. And I want to know if there is some way to study that as well.
Yes.
Because we know, we've talked about, speaking of past lives, like UVA has been studying things like that for decades.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I need to look into it, if they're studying anything like that about like intuition or just like you said, being in tune with maybe other planes of dimension or, dimensional planes. And
I'm sure there is, and someone's going to list like a million things and I'm going to feel dumb, but I wonder what you can do to like, I don't want to say harness that power, but harness that power. Can you
like grow it and like use it?
Yes.
Well, probably.
That'd be really, really cool to do.
But I don't know. Our next story is also unsigned, so anonymous, number 2.
Oh my gosh.
Hello. So I'm a new listener and you said something about haunted dolls and if we have a story. Well, I do. I acquired all 4 of my haunted dolls over the years. 3 are porcelain dolls and 1 looks like a voodoo doll, but isn't. So we got new carpets in our house last year, or 2 years ago now, and I had all 3 of the porcelain haunted dolls downstairs in totes to keep them safe. Well, one night, I was laying in my bed and heard a knock. One single knock on the wall behind me and some giggles. As if they were playing a joke on me. I think they were upset with me that I left them in totes. So 3 days after I heard that knock, I took them out of the tote and now have them in my closet. I can feel their spirits around, and sometimes you can see them in videos that I do. I think they are happy that I took them out of their totes, now seeing as occasionally they will show themselves in videos in orb form. I have more stories not related to dolls if you wanted some more. Love you both. And then they signed at the bottom, not everyone has the same heart as you. And I found that interesting and nice.
Huh. That's, that is something I do have to remind myself a lot.
Yeah.
Because when I'm wondering, like, wow, how could you be this awful and evil and cruel?
Just not even necessarily to that extreme.
But
just some people have different feelings about different things.
But just in the world
that's
right
okay.
now.
Like I said, sometimes that's okay.
Yeah. I can appreciate that you're not afraid of them and you let them out of their tote and, put them where they're happy.
To each their own.
Not everybody has the same heart as you. And that's a very good point because I would need a pacemaker if that happened. So quite literally, I would need something done to my heart if I heard knocks and giggles. So good for you.
I am intrigued by people who own haunted dolls.
And I would like to know their names. I wish we could know the doll's names. So if you're here, please comment. I would like to know who they are or what you've named them.
Okay. Our next story comes from Jess. Hello, before I tell my stories, I just wanted to say I love y'all's podcast so much. I found it about 3 weeks ago and have been obsessed. It feels like a scary tea time with besties. I absolutely adore it. Thank you.
Thank you.
It also feels like tea time with besties because it kind of is for us. I'll start with my scariest story that has stuck with me as vividly as the day it happened. For starters, I feel it's important to note I grew up in a very Mexican household where we shoved as many generations into one home as possible, or maybe that's just us. So at the time, I lived with my grandparents, my mother, my uncle, his wife, and their children, my younger cousins. We also lived that way for a little while.
We did.
My cousins were about 2 to 3 years old at the time, while I was 14, and they loved to spend time with me in my room. Oh, sorry, I'm remembering this story. You are not going to like this. I'm so sorry.
You scared me.
I got chills through my whole body. Okay. Sorry, I need to readjust here. Yeah. I would have movie nights in there with them, watching Disney movies or cartoons to help out my aunt and uncle a bit. I was used to leaving one door to my room open so they were able to come in and out as they pleased through our conjoined bathroom. They would often be in my room when I got out of school until 6 p.m., unless I wasn't feeling up to it. One day, while one was napping, the other came in, and she sat on my bed with me to watch The Little Mermaid. We sat together and watched for 30 minutes until she got bored and hopped down to go to her parents' room. As she waddled out, she partially shut the door so it was open just a crack, practically a push away from shutting completely. I laid down on my bed and left the movie on. It started to get dark outside along with my room, so I got more comfy and laid further down on my bed, letting my feet hang off as I usually did. I don't remember exactly when, but at some point during the movie my door opened again, and I saw her small head walk in and plop at the foot of my bed, which I thought nothing of because she had done it plenty of times before. Then, after about 15 minutes into her coming back, I felt cold, tiny hands wrap slowly around my ankles and lightly tug me down. I remember being slightly shocked but laughing at my little cousin playing with me. I sat up after giggling at her and leaned forward to look over the foot of my bed when, to my horror, I gasped. She wasn't there. I called her name as I pulled my legs up and completely leaned over to look under my bed, and nobody was there. I felt chills come over me as I looked up and around my room, then towards the bathroom door she had come in from. It was still open, and the bathroom remained pitch black. I remember not moving from my bed for 2 hours. I just sat shocked in the center and scared for the duration of another movie until I decided to eventually turn on the lamp and head down to the living room. I opened my main door and looked downstairs to see her running wild in our kitchen. After that, I began to completely shut my door and stopped letting my feet hang off my bed. I've had plenty of other experiences in that house. My family is very spiritual, and each of us have our own array of paranormal stories. My mother and I believe there's a spirit of some sort there, where my grandparents still live. To this day, I'm still not sure what pulled my feet. If you guys would like to hear more stories, I have plenty of my own and some of my family's that I think you guys would enjoy. Thank you so much, Jess, a fellow tea and spooky story lover.
That's horrible. That's horrible and I hate it. And how dare you?
Sorry. Yeah, that's a really bad one.
But you know what? I don't have to be afraid of this because I have never in my life hung my feet off the bed.
No, I've woken up before with my knee hanging off the bed and like immediately like
nope.
back under my cover.
Nope, I can't do it. I don't even stick a foot out. You know how people like will say it's like,
I do.
oh, if you do like a foot and then if you do a leg, like, oh, the demon's gonna get you. No part of my body comes out from underneath the blanket.
I'm usually a half and half. Sometimes. In the summer particularly. But
I
yeah.
want you to think about that tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I probably will.
Most of the time, I even cover my head. I am fully
submerged.
safe. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Jess, that's horrifying. Horrifying. The cold hands.
Mm-mm. And you saw the head walk in.
Pulling down.
But maybe it just wanted to play. Maybe the spirit was watching. No, in a good way. Maybe the spirit was watching how you interact with your cousin. And they were just like, aw, like,
it's a mimic. And
fun
it's just
family time. Because didn't someone say in one of our last episodes, like, are mimics inherently bad? Or maybe they just sometimes want to experience what we're doing, you know?
Experience our life too.
Hopefully. Because if not, ew.
The cold little hands wrapping around their ankles.
That's how you know it wouldn't be me, though. You could tell. I don't have cold hands.
No.
My hands are always clammy.
That's okay. Mine usually are too. Our next story comes from Roxann. Hello, ladies. Hope you are well. I'm a new listener to you on YouTube, and I really enjoy your content. I usually have it on while I work from home. Funny story on that. I work for a large funeral and cemetery corporation, and I help design cemeteries. Even funnier story, my partner works for one of our locations and digs the graves. Believe it or not, we met at that location, fell in love, and are happily still together.
Okay, kind of cute though, I
Very
think.
cool, meet cute story. Yeah.
It's very unique. I'm actually a fan. I'm a fan.
I find it intriguing that they choose to listen to spooky podcasts while planning cemeteries.
Me too.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, get in the mood.
Yeah. Today, I was listening to one of your podcasts from November 27th, 2023, Ghosty Party, Ouija Boards, Haunted Houses, Witches, and Deja Vu, where you were reading personal stories, and I thought I would share some of mine with you.
Wow, what a throwback.
I know. I've always been a little susceptible to most things around, a change in weather, people's mood when they are not around me, the atmosphere in buildings, and things like that. This story is on the longer end as it happened over a week. When I was younger, 5 to 6 years old, I would go on trips with my grandparents to Flin Flon, Manitoba. Yes, that's the name of the city, to visit family. My cousin lived there in a house with her parents for a few years before they moved. This house was like all the rest of the houses on the street, so it wasn't out of the ordinary. Kind of a moss green house with a large window, tree in the front yard, and stairs leading to the front door. I always felt funny when we started to drive down the road to the house, but I always ignored it as I was excited to see my cousin. When you walked into the house from the back door, you could either go up the stairs to the main living area to turn left and go to the basement. The basement always scared me a little. It was dark, cold, and had a few windows that looked over the backyard. The house was like any normal house. Once you climbed up the stairs to the main part of the house, you would arrive in the kitchen. From there, first left was the living room, down the hall to the right was the bathroom, across from that was the master bedroom, and at the end of the hall was my cousin's room. Pretty basic late 80s, early 90s house. I remember the first time I visited there. My auntie told me, don't go into the basement. My grandmother questioned it, and my auntie said, I'll tell you later. I was a little confused about it as, at my home, that is where we would play on rainy days. I just figured it was old and dusty and not suitable for kids. During the days, my cousin and I would play Barbies in the living room, play hide and seek in the backyard, and chat all hours into the night in her bedroom when we should be sleeping. I remember one night, I had to get up and use the washroom. Everyone in the house was asleep, and a small nightlight was on in the hallway. I didn't think anything of it and went and did my business. I was about to leave the washroom, and the nightlight started to flicker. As I looked towards the kitchen, I felt a very large and dark presence coming from that area. The nightlight went out, and I was in total darkness. The air kept getting thicker and thicker, and the presence was getting closer and closer. I remember then a small child, not my cousin, grabbed my arm and said, "No." Next thing I know, I'm waking up in my cousin's room, and it's morning. At breakfast, my cousin and I were in the living room watching cartoons, and my auntie was telling my grandmother about what happened in the basement before we came. She said that she was doing laundry like normal, and when she was coming up the stairs, something at the top felt like it pushed her, and she fell down the stairs. When she hit the basement floor, her head hit the dryer. This didn't only happen to her, but to her husband, my uncle, as well. For some reason now, I really wanted to go and check out the basement. Later that day, when everyone was busy, I made my way down the stairs. When I got to the last step, I looked around. It was kind of dusty and dirty, washer and dryer, and a small sink. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw legs at the window, standing, facing the house. When I turned my head to look, they were gone. I heard a small voice say, "No, don't go." So I rushed back up the stairs and looked out the door. No one was there. The rest of the day and evening was uneventful, but the atmosphere in the house felt heavier than before. In the morning, my cousin and I decided to play hide and seek. We often played this game as her backyard was huge. A few trees, sheds, and bushes. I remember trying to find a hiding spot in the house, and I could hear a voice say to me, "Hey, you should hide here." I stopped and went to the back door. The voice was obviously coming from the basement. "Hey, come down here. I have the best spot to hide. They will never find you." I went down the stairs, and there was a man. He was dressed in brown tweed trousers, white long-sleeve shirt, and brown suspenders. The man from the window. He crouched down and waved his hand to me to come to him. "Here, hide in here," he was saying and pointing to the dryer. I stood on the last step of the stairs, about to step down, and I remember my arm being pulled, and as I looked away, there was a young boy. He said, "Don't go. Don't hide there." Next thing I know, I'm lying on the couch in the living room with the TV on. That night, I had to get up and use the washroom. As I opened the bedroom door, the nightlight started to flicker. The house felt quieter and darker than normal. The air was very heavy. I could hear weird noises coming from the stairs and the kitchen area. I really had to go, but the noises were getting louder. Then I heard, "Run, hurry, I'll watch the door." I didn't think twice about it. I ran to the washroom, did my business, and washed my hands. The door was closed, and I could hear the voice say, "Wait, don't come out." I was scared. If I didn't do my business 2 minutes earlier, I'm sure I would have made a mess on the floor. I could hear the voice say, "No, not her. She is my friend." Then the door opened itself. I looked out and the house was back to normal. The nightlight was on, not flickering, and looked normal. I went back to her room and closed the door. I crawled back into bed and sat there. I remember seeing a small figure in the corner of the bedroom. It was hunched over, kind of like it was sad. I asked it to come and sit on the bed with me. As it moved, I could feel that this was the little boy from earlier. It was dark in the room, but I could tell he was in trousers and a long-sleeve shirt. I kind of remember chatting with him for hours, but I don't remember what we talked about, only that his first name started with an M. In the morning, I got up early and my auntie was up making coffee. Today was the day we were going home. My cousin and grandparents were still sleeping, and she asked me how I slept and if I had fun visiting. I was quiet. Then I told her what happened. Everything. From the growling, the heaviness in the house, to the person in the basement, the dryer, and the little boy who was my friend. Her face went pale as she put down her coffee. She told me not to tell anyone in the family about this. Ever. I smiled and said, "Okay." Later that day, we packed up the car and said our goodbyes. I remember looking out the car window to the living room window that faced the street and seeing a little boy in a white shirt waving goodbye. Months later, I can recall my grandmother talking to my aunt on the phone about the house and what they should do. They tried to call priests to bless the house, but nothing worked. In the end, they moved to a new house on the other side of the city. Many, many years later, like 20 plus, I moved to Manitoba for work. One day, I decided to go to Flin Flon for some shopping, as it was the closest city. As I pulled into the city, I drove right by the shopping center, down some weird streets that I had no clue where I was, then pulled over, put my car in park, and sat there facing forward. With both hands on my steering wheel, I looked over my shoulder, and there it was, the house. Still moss green, still the tree in the front yard, and the same stairs leading up to the front door. I could feel a weird energy coming over me, and I felt physically ill. It felt like something was mad, watching me from the house, but no one was there. As I looked at the house, feeling dread and scared, I heard a voice say, "It's okay, friend." I put my car in drive and drove away. I haven't been back since. I don't know who that little boy was or why he was there. I've always wanted to ask my auntie what happened in the house, who the man in the basement was, and who the little boy was. But I remember promising her never to bring it up, so I haven't. I hope you enjoyed my story. I have a few more instances if you'd like, even some recent ones. Cheers, Roxann.
Hello.
Insane.
Hello.
Right?
Oh, my. I just feel bad for the little boy.
I know. He's there living with it. Are the man and the dark shadow the same thing?
Yes, that man is evil. That man is evil, and
Hey,
that
come
little boy.
hide in the dryer, child.
That is
No.
so sick and so sad. How do we get the boy? How do we take the boy and pass him on, Melinda Gordon style, Ghost Whisperer style?
I know.
That's so sad.
I know.
Horrifying, but not as scary because you had the little boy guiding
Protecting you.
Yes.
The way they heard, like, hey, kid, over here. Come hide here.
Mm-mm.
This is a great hiding spot. They'll never find you in here.
I was not thinking there was going to be a second entity. I thought it was just the little boy, and it was like a demon or something disguised as the little boy being like, oh, come hide here, friend. I didn't know it was...
No, not her. That's my friend.
That is sick.
You know what? Maybe it's because I've been getting a lot of previews and like commercials for the black phone, but that's what I was thinking about.
Oh,
and I haven't even seen that movie. I just kind of know the premise based off of like, what I've seen online.
You don't want to see it.
No, I don't.
I don't. It's horrible.
That's why I haven't watched it.
About children.
Yeah, I can't watch things with kids.
You won't make it.
That's almost why I haven't watched Weapons yet. I knew it was good. I've heard it was good. I haven't watched it yet because it has kids in it.
Watch Weapons.
Okay.
Watch
safe.
Weapons.
I'm safe.
Watch it.
Okay.
Yes, watch it.
But yeah, Roxann, what a tale. What a horrifying, terrifying, awful story.
Yeah, that was
the way
a little bit
kind
crazy.
Of like pulled them down to the road to the house. They didn't even know where they were going, and they just happened to end up like right there. There it is.
Maybe
the darkness is staring at them from the window still.
Maybe the friend, the boy, wanted to see them. Hopefully, in a good way.
Ugh, I just got like heart palpitations.
Yeah, that's awful.
Our next story is also unsigned. So what is this? Number 3?
Anonymous number 3 out of 4 stories?
Anonymous story time, I guess.
Part 2, because we've had one before.
Yeah.
Weird.
I recently found your YouTube channel, and to be quite frank, I am obsessed. I have a decent amount of scary things that have happened to me and my family. I don't think that I live in a haunted house. I think that it's following my family. I'll start off with this one. My room used to be in the basement of our split-level house. I had my bedroom divided by several curtains and tapestries because of how big it was. While my room was downstairs, my house was the place for all of my friends to hang out. One night, I had my 2 best friends with me, and my mom worked third shift. One friend was sitting on the bed facing me. My other friend was sitting on the couch facing me, and I was standing facing them. But behind my friend on the couch was the hallway to go to the restroom. I used to have a bearded dragon, so his enclosure was on the dresser directly behind me. We were all sitting there making really good conversation, and we were all super into the supernatural, so of course we had a scary movie playing behind us. All at once, the conversation stopped. My bathroom light was off, but it came on for 3 seconds, turned off for 3 seconds, and then turned back on for another 3 seconds. I saw it head on. My friend had seen it through the reflection of my bearded dragon's enclosure, and my other friend on the couch saw it out of the corner of her eye. Let's just say none of us really got any sleep that night. Another thing that happened while my room was downstairs, I will never forget. My friend and I had been watching The Conjuring. I paused it because I had to go to the restroom to switch over my laundry. My friend was sitting on the corner of the bed towards the edge right by the TV. Earlier that night, she had been talking about how people could run at her. They could fly at her. But the one thing that was absolutely she could not handle was crawling.
I knew you were about to say that.
While I was in the bathroom, she was on her phone, and I heard her say my name in a whined tone. So I responded, and I asked, what? She asked if I'm still in the bathroom, and I told her yes. But then there was no response after that. I walked out of the bathroom a couple of minutes later, and she had scooted all the way to the back of the bed, her phone up to her face, completely silent. I sat down on the couch and asked her what was wrong. She told me that she saw something moving out of the corner of her eye on the other side of the tapestry. She could see it through the cracks since they weren't all touching like they were supposed to be. My friend said that the black figure didn't look like an animal, but it also didn't look completely like a human. The black figure crawled about 4 feet across the floor before it came to a halt. It stopped in a squat position, staring at my friend through the cracks of the curtain. She thought it was me playing a prank on her, which is why she asked me if I was still in another room. She only believed that it wasn't me when she could hear my voice coming from the other room, but she was still making eye contact with the figure. We both love to talk about our spooky experiences together, but that's one that still rattles her. I have a lot more stories from my personal experiences and experiences that my mom had growing up with her siblings, but I figured that those 2 were enough for right now.
That Sorry, I was like
gagging.
trying not to gag. That scared me so bad. I just almost threw up.
The way it just like crawled and like squatted and was like making eye contact almost.
I've got a good enough visual. I'm good. But that is exactly like when this person said their room was divided by tapestries and curtains and things. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Don't do it. And they did it. Oh my God. Oh, I just feel unwell.
I feel exposed.
Physically, I feel sick. I'm not liking this at all.
All right, well, we still have several more, so
great.
Prepare yourself. Our next one is from Wren. Hi y'all, I'm Wren, and I sent you a message on IG before realizing I needed to write it all in one bubble, so I'm emailing it to you instead. Yes, if you send stories to us on Instagram, they are probably lost in the interwebs forever. So please email us, ghosteaspod@gmail.com.
Yes, because the DMs have gotten so overwhelming that I don't know if I'll ever catch up.
I found your pod a few weeks ago on YouTube and have been addicted since, listening to it on my commute to school or while at work doing mindless tasks. I am 19 years old and an empath who feels energies, though I've occasionally seen ghosts or entities. It's very rare when it happens. I have had a plethora of paranormal experiences in my life, including an experience that made my skeptic mom believe and living in a haunted house for 1.5 years. I will share them all with you, though not all at once, because I know how much y'all insist we tell you everything. Thank you. Please do. This one, however, is one of the scariest experiences I've ever had. The story takes place at my friend's house, who we will call A for privacy reasons, which was right next to a cemetery and contained a haunted doll in the loft. Perfect place for something like this, I know. It was their 16th birthday party, so there were probably 10 or so of us, ranging in ages from 15 to 17. I was 16 at the time. It was late September, and after playing hide and seek in the dark in their backyard, the group collectively decided we wanted to go for a night walk and maybe explore the cemetery. Being a large group with multiple different beliefs on death and the afterlife going to walk in the cemetery, myself, and another friend all gathered the group to set some basic rules as to not disrespect the dead or bring home spirits. 1. Do not walk, step, or dance on the graves. 2. Do not lean on, disrupt, vandalize, or sit/stand on the gravestones. 3. If you see something, do not bring attention to it, talk to it, sing to it, or otherwise interact with it. You can tell the group later, but not right then. And 4. Do not wander past the path that separated the graveyard from the field and woods, as you would stray too far from the group and it would make it difficult to find you if you got hurt or lost.
I'm already scared. Nothing's happened. I'm already scared.
I'm sure we had some other rules that involved basic walking with a group and stuff, but those are the only important things. Pagans, Christians, Catholics, and atheists alike, most of the group agreed to these rules, other than 2 atheists who were 15 and particularly difficult. They did not believe that walking on the graves was disrespectful or rude because the people are dead and their relatives aren't around. We told them before to just be respectful, if not of the dead, of the religious and or superstitious of other people in the group. With that, we grab flashlights and head off towards the cemetery with myself in the front and the other pagans in the rear. We make it to the side entrance of the cemetery with no gate by walking from A's backyard. Important note, there is a huge oak tree in the middle of the cemetery that is absolutely gorgeous, but would take several of us holding our hands to wrap around the trunk. As we approach in the darkness, I get a bad feeling in my gut, and I start to feel the sensation of tingling in my chest that I associate with spiritual energies. But this time it's heavy and dark. Watching my step in the dark, I then pause and look up to see a tall, black, humanoid figure on all 4 legs. Legs and arms are freakishly long, so much so that the creature standing on all 4s with its knees and elbows bent and sticking out to the sides, it is nearly 6 feet tall. I stand frozen in place as it stares back at me. I don't dare alert the group behind me. I just stand there and squint to see if I'm not mistaking it for some bush or tree. I am not.
I wish you were.
The crouched creature is already staring at me, seeming to have noticed me before I it. Its beady little white eyes make the hairs on my neck stand straight up before it scurries behind the big oak tree and peers out again before disappearing behind it once more. Still frozen, the person behind me asks if I'm okay, and I realize the whole group has stopped behind me, waiting for me to step forward. I snap out of my trance and realize that what seemed like an at least 30-second long ordeal was probably only about 2 to 5 seconds, and nobody else had noticed. I told them I was fine and thought I had seen something, but it was just a tree, and turned to reiterate some of the rules to the group before we entered. So we continue to explore, and I stay a good distance from the oak tree at all times and admire some of the carvings on the tombstones. Most of us split off into smaller groups of 3 to 5 as we explored. I noticed a couple of people close to the pathway and opened my mouth to remind them not to cross it. As I did, I got that sick feeling again, and noticed the creature again, further this time near the tree line of the woods, and watching us. Its eyes locked on the friend who was actually standing on the path. I turned to my other pagan friend and said, "I really don't like that over there," and gestured to the direction of the field. She responded, "Me neither. I have a bad feeling about it, and I don't know why." I nodded, thankful that someone else had noticed too, before yelling for the group to come back closer to the rest of us. They said they would, but they were looking at something, and I looked up to see them surrounding a gravestone, and figured they may have recognized a name or something. Only a minute or two later did my Catholic friend, who had been in my small group the whole time, tell me that she was feeling kind of sick and wanted to go back. A few more people agreed that either they were getting uncomfortable or they were just bored and wanted to play Cards Against Humanity or something instead. So we round everyone up, and I once again lead everyone in walking back to the house. Once we got inside, the bad feeling did not go away. We debriefed, and most of the group felt uneasy or scared for seemingly no reason when all of a sudden, the person sitting next to me's face went ghost white while looking at the window, and we all turned our heads to see the creature bent over, peering in the window with its beady white eyes. When I made eye contact with it, it jerked away. We then began hearing footsteps start to circle the house, occasionally stopping at windows or doors to peer in or jiggle the handle. This caused the majority of the people to begin freaking out, of course. There was complete panic, crying, shouting, anxiety, and panic attacks, and pure fear from everyone in the room. We all rushed to pour salt on all of the windows and doors and shut all of the blinds that A had, though some windows had none, and we were exposed to the creature outside that was trying to find a way in, our only protection being the salt poured on the windowsill. Myself and the other 2 pagans, one of which was A, asked if anyone had broken the rules. Someone spoke up and said he'd seen something in the field and started talking to it. The other 2, who had previously agreed not to do this, admitted to stepping on graves while walking. And someone else said that they felt uneasy, so they sang to try to calm themselves down, unintentionally singing to the entity that they could not see. Some of our friends were sitting on the couch or floor shaking and pale in terror, while myself and another friend gathered a candle and some supplies to cast a protection spell on the house and the individuals in it. We sat everyone in a circle and lit the candle, which was anointed with various herbs and surrounded with various items of protection. There were other things involved, I'm sure, but this was 3 years ago now and I can't remember. We also had an incantation that was chanted, but I don't remember that either. Some of the other religious folk also put their own protection prayers or hymns over us, and the energy seemed to relax. Though as the night went on, we would occasionally see a shadow dart past a window, hear tapping on a door, and even once saw a light pass by the sliding glass doors and 2 windows, which scared the crap out of the people who witnessed it. After letting the candle burn out and carrying on with our evening through games and movies and activities that allowed us to ignore the events, people started to leave, and those of us who were spending the night stayed up until the early hours of the morning, watching old Monster High movies from our childhood until we were sure the activity was done and we felt safe enough to sleep. In the morning, we all woke up and the energy in the house was completely different. It felt fresh and light again, and we went window to window and door to door to gather the salt placed there the night before, to find that it had all turned gray, but remained unscathed. I went home that morning and never had another experience like that at their house again, but future parties avoided the cemetery, and we stayed in the backyard watching horror movies and doing karaoke on a projector instead. So lesson learned. Do not take a bunch of people who are not versed on cemetery etiquette into a cemetery at night, especially after seeing a large humanoid creature scurry out of sight and ignoring it. I know this is a really intense story, so I hope y'all aren't too terribly freaked out, and thank you so much for reading. I will definitely be sending more stories in. Don't worry, they are not as insane as this one. P.S. I live in an old, small town, and we have a story about a witch from the 1670s whose place of death is still in the square, and she's got a creepy and tragic backstory. So if y'all would like to hear it, I'll send it in too. Thanks again and much love, Wren.
Would love to, first of all.
Yes.
Second of all, why is the salt gray? Is that a thing?
I looked it up, and salt can gray if it's exposed to, let's see, I actually copied something. Salt turns gray either because it is unrefined sea salt, rich in minerals like magnesium, calcium, and iron, which gives it a natural gray color, which wouldn't be the case because it wasn't gray when they poured it, or because refined salt has absorbed impurities from the air over time, leading to a grayish discoloration. The latter happens when moisture causes the salt to absorb airborne pollutants. Could that still be the case with like a negative, like energetic pollutant, you know?
That's what I'm thinking, and that is disgusting. And also, I'm not liking the figures on all fours.
No, lots of shadow figures today.
It's not a great feeling. I'm really scared. And talking about cemeteries, I can't do this anymore, dude.
I don't like how tall it was.
Y'all don't even know. We are going to put a vlog on Patreon, God willing, at the end of this month. Macy and I went to a cemetery, and we used GhostTube. Things got scary.
It was weird.
We're not freaking ghost hunters. We're not Sam and Colby. We're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt too real. So cemeteries right now are not something I want to talk about. And I'm really scared.
Well, I'm sorry. We have a few more cemetery stories, actually.
God. Okay.
I don't think this next one is, but the following 3 are.
Like, I'm really scared over here.
I'm so sorry.
I'm really scared.
Our next one comes from Matthew. Hi, my name is Matthew. I am 18 years old and have lived in Michigan most of my life. Ever since I was little, I've had almost a sixth sense when it comes to the paranormal. Some say I'm crazy, others say I naturally have clairvoyance. A big part of the reason I have so many stories is because growing up, I moved a total of 17 times due to my family not being the most wealthy. I have lots of stories from different homes, but today I will talk about my current home. I have lived in my current home for about 4 years. As I've said before, I have a sixth sense when it comes to the paranormal. I think I have gotten it from my mom because she is the same, and some of my siblings also have it, but no one has experienced it as much as me. Everyone in my home, besides my dad, feels a presence in our home here and there. About a year into living in my home, I was home alone with my 2 sisters. I also have an older brother, but he wasn't home that time. We all were downstairs in the living room watching TV, and then we heard a noise from upstairs. It sounded as if someone knocked something heavy down by accident. There weren't any windows open. The air conditioning was off, by the way. Keep that in mind. Me being an older brother, I told my sisters to go hide somewhere on the first floor while I go see if someone is in our home. I grabbed a knife and quietly snuck my way upstairs. I thought the noise came from my brother's room, so I went to go see if someone was in there. There wasn't anyone. I did the same with the upstairs bathroom and my sister's rooms. The room door is completely shut. I walk up to my door, and the door handle twists open, and the door opens. All I can think is, what the heck? I don't want to hurt anyone and possibly go to jail for it. I walk in my room, ready to hurt an intruder, and then there's no one there. I realize they could be in my closet, since my closet is a walk-in. I walk up to my door, which is also completely shut, and the door handle twists again and opens. There's no one there. I quickly realize some ghost is messing with me. There wasn't anyone in my home.
Does it want you to go in there for a reason?
Yeah.
What is it doing?
What was
and
the
why?
noise? What did it knock over?
Was it on purpose to get you up there?
I don't like that. About a month later, my mom asked me if I could feel that. She was referring to a presence in my home. I replied with yes, because I could. I ignored it and said out loud to the ghost, "Get out of my home, you dead expletive." I then took a shower, and I took hot showers, so naturally the mirror would get steamy. When I got out of the shower, I looked at the mirror. It looked like something was drawn on the mirror. I was curious to see what it was, and it was a smudgy drawing of an old lady. I wish I had taken a picture of the mirror, but I didn't. I got a little scared, so I went into my room to change. I looked out the window of my bedroom and saw the same illustration was there. I did take 2 pictures, but it's not that good. I will add it to this. It's hard to make out what it is, but if you stare, you can see an old lady's face. I'm not trying to take up too much time, so I will leave a list of other things my family and I have experienced in my home. But also, please give my vlog a shout out. My account name is @Matitudes. A little girl, talking when both my sisters were asleep, heard from my brother and I. Doors opening and slamming, my dog barking and looking at something that's not there, cabinets opening and closing, feeling random ghost's energy, seeing a figure, then turning the light on, no one there. People talking when the house was silent, objects moving on their own, sleep paralysis, and seeing the Hat Man.
Oh no, not the Hat Man.
So Matthew has seen the Hat Man. I will go to their pictures. Honestly, when I looked, I couldn't see anything, but I am very terrible at finding things in photos.
Me too, but I'd like to see it.
I kind of see something there, but I can't really make it out. And they took a zoomed in photo if you'd like to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really see it, but we will put it here.
I can see like where the eyes may be. I think I see the two eyes like on either side of the lights. If that is incorrect and we're looking at the wrong thing, please correct us.
Know.
If y'all see it, let me know. And somebody like literally circle. Wait,
did you see it?
I see the lips.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing it.
I can kind of see it. It was like at the right angle.
Okay, sorry, I moved it.
Somebody trace it and show Macy because
because I can't see it.
I kind of saw it actually for a second, but it's very hard to see.
That is creepy though. The door's opening is what really got me.
Don't like it.
That. Watching the handle move and just like,
come on in. Yeah, no.
All right, you'll never guess.
Anonymous.
Another unsigned email.
What?
Again, I don't know if these people are wanting to be anonymous or they're just not signing their email. And sometimes, like, they'll have their name. Some people will have their name, like, in their email.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say their name if they don't want it because they didn't sign it. And sometimes the name is not a name. It's like
Phoenix Starfire.
I was going to say, like, Big Cheeks 231. And I'm like, I don't want to say that here. Okay. I like Starfire better.
Okay.
So anyway,
Big Cheeks 321 231. All right.
This is not Big Cheeks. This is unsigned, anonymous. Hi, Macy and Natalie. Love the podcast. I'm so glad I stumbled across it. I've been binging your videos. Can't wait to see y'all reach even more people. So before I start the actual story, let me give you a little backstory. My stepdad was married before he met my mom. He and his first wife had 2 daughters and 3 sons. Their oldest daughter, named Janice, drowned when she was 8 years old, and it affected my stepdad and his first wife so much that they ended up divorcing. Fast forward 15 years later. My stepdad marries my mom, and my mom gets pregnant. He, for some reason, really wanted a girl, even though my mom had 4 daughters of her own at this point, from her first marriage. Well, lo and behold, he got his wish, and my mom had a baby girl that they named Kelsey. Incident number 1. When Kelsey was born, my dad locked himself in the room with her and was crying hysterically, thanking my mom for bringing back his Janice. My mom kept telling him that that was not Janice, it was Kelsey. Incident 2. When Kelsey was first born, we were living at my mom's house in a small town in Texas. But for personal reasons, when she was about 4 years old, we ended up moving into my stepdad's house, also in Texas, where Janice actually lived. The neighbors who had lived there for a really long time saw Kelsey and had a shocked look on their face, but didn't say anything at that moment. Later, the neighbor actually ended up confiding in my mom and telling her that when they saw Kelsey, they got chills because she looked and sounded exactly like Janice.
Whoa.
Incident 3. Later that same year, we were taking a walk at a park that had a small pond. When out of nowhere, my little sister looks at my mom and tells her, "Mom, hold my hand. Do you want me to fall again?" My mom was obviously confused and asked her, "What do you mean, Kelsey?" And she replied, "Yeah, Mom, don't you remember that I fell in the water and I went down, down, down and never woke up again?" My mom, my stepbrother, and I were obviously shocked because we rarely spoke about Janice, and especially not in front of my little sister. Incident 4. At this point, Kelsey is now around 6 or 7 years old. She was a normal kid. She loved to play outside, but we would always notice that she had an imaginary friend. My mom would always find her hiding and talking to her imaginary friend or riding her bike and talking to somebody. One day my mom was looking for something on top of the refrigerator and a picture of Janice fell onto the floor. My little sister picked it up and said, "Look, Mom, it's my friend." My mom was confused and said, "No, that's not your friend. You don't know her." And Kelsey replied, "Yes, she plays with me, and when I'm outside riding my bike, she tells me not to go on the street, and she takes care of me." My mom changed the subject and never asked her about it again because she was obviously creeped out. Now Kelsey is 16 years old, and she has no recollection of this imaginary friend or anything. Thank you for taking the time to read this, and I hope this makes it onto the podcast.
I have to say,
that one made me want to cry.
At first, I was like, oh, the dad said, "Thank you for bringing back." I thought it was about to be
something darker.
Yes. Yeah. I thought that was taking a darker turn.
I'm glad it ended where it did.
Yes. Kind of beautiful, very tragic, and I don't want to harp on that too much because I will cry.
My heart is heavy right now, yeah.
Yes, but, oh, wow.
I know. I cried earlier
my eyes.
reading this.
Suddenly my eyes are very, very wet Anyways, thank you for sharing that story. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay. I just want to say, yeah, thank you again for sharing that story. And that was absolutely beautiful. And the fact that Kelsey like had her little friend watching her like that really like touched my heart.
All right, wrap it up.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
We'll move on. Our next story is from Mikayla. Hi, my name is Mikayla, and I have a spooky story about when I went ghost hunting with my mom in Georgia and caught a picture of somebody beside her when nobody else was with us.
Do we have the picture?
We have the photo.
Yes. Okay, a win.
Yes.
A win for the day.
This happened last year in late July. My mom, me, and my 2 sisters all rented a small beach house in Jekyll Island, Georgia for my birthday trip. My mom had done research on the island and had learned that it had a bunch of ghost tours that we could go on and a few old abandoned houses tourists could visit. One night we decided to go on a ghost tour and it went pretty well. We took pictures and videos and got nothing on camera that was weird the entire night. Later that night, my mom and I decided that we wanted to go explore one of the buildings we had passed earlier on the island. It was an old abandoned house with just the brick left, and across from it, a small graveyard surrounded by short stone walls, containing the family that used to live there. My mom and I went there around 10 p.m. and decided to film some videos like those ghost TV shows we always watch. At one point, we even turned off all our lights and explored the house in the dark to add to the spooky atmosphere. Nothing happened at this time, and we were getting pretty bored, so my mom suggested that we go across the street into the graveyard. The second we stepped into the graveyard, the energy shifted from lighthearted and fun to something dark. My mom told me to go first into the gates as she was starting to feel very uneasy at this point. The moment I walked in, she gasped and told me it looked like a dark shadow had walked in front of me towards one of the trees and the edges of the stone wall. I was a little shaken up at this point, but shrugged it off and continued to shine my flashlight and read off the graves and take pictures. Not much else happened at this point, so my mom and I decided to go to the car and look over some of our pictures and videos that we took. I was scrolling through my videos when my mom yelled from the driver's seat beside me. In one of the pictures she took in front of the graveyard, it looked like a person was walking beside me, when in reality, no one else was there. It had a sort of shadowy figure and was transparent towards the legs and part of the head. It just looked pitch black in other parts. We drove back to our rental house in silence, and I did not sleep at all that night. You can see the person on the very right of the photo, seemingly walking down the path. My flashlight is on the right, and you can see mine shining down to the graveyard, right where the thing is. Let me know if you post this story, and anyone can tell me what this might be.
Let's see it.
This one's for real. What is that?
Oh.
What is that?
That's a person.
There was nobody there.
That's a person.
There's nobody there.
Yep. Confirmed. That's a person. It has legs. You can see shoes.
Yeah.
You can see pants.
Very creepy. I wonder if it's the same shadow
Wow.
person that their mom saw.
Wow. I mean, probably if they're wandering around. That is really cool.
The way that they drove back home in silence.
Oh my God.
Like, same.
I would be so
Same.
scared if we ever caught
Same.
something like that. I know we were wandering around like Galveston and Austin and stuff, like trying to take pictures and be like, ooh, are we going to catch anything? If we did,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that I'd recover.
It'd be pretty freaky. That this
Ooh.
this picture
Ooh.
freaks me out a lot. Mikayla, that was wild.
But I love photo evidence.
Me too. Our next story is from Robyn. Hi girls, I absolutely love the podcast. It really helps me wind down after work. I have a story here if you'd like to hear. My story actually happened recently. My best friend recently moved to Ireland, and a month ago I went to visit her for a weekend. On this trip, we decided to do some touristy things around Dublin, and one of those things was a ghost tour because we love spooky stuff. The ghost tour was really fun. It was at night, and we had a couple of cocktails beforehand for courage. One location on the ghost tour was called St. Kevin's Park. This park was a former graveyard with a church ruin dating back to 1226. The thing is, to build the park, they left the bodies under the ground, removed the headstones, and left them against the walls of the park. We were instantly disturbed. If there were going to be angry spirits anywhere, it would be there. We're listening to the guide talk about the history of the place, torture and deaths that happened in and around the church. Then the guide leads us into the ruins of the old church that was locked off. Inside was a replica of an old coffin they would have used during either the plague or the famine. He's showing us how small the coffins were, and then asks, who wants to get in first?
Huh?
And of course, my friend was the first to put her hand up and get in there. It was pretty funny and I took some pictures, but there was no way in hell I was getting in that coffin in the middle of an ancient graveyard. That's playing with fate and ghosts a little too much for me.
Correct. The correct answer.
Anyway, we finish the ghost tour and go for a couple more drinks, get back to her house, and sleep like babies. It wasn't until the night after that it got a little strange. It was the night before my flight, so we just watched a movie, Nightmare Before Christmas, and went to bed. During the night, I kept waking up to sleep paralysis. Not uncommon for me, but I never get hallucinations, and it never happens multiple times a night. And I see this dark shadow of a tall man with orange, yellow, big round eyes next to her bathroom, just staring at us. I told myself it was just a hallucination and went back to sleep, but it continued to happen. One time, I woke up to loud noises coming from the bathroom, and when I got out of the paralysis, it was still happening. I woke up my friend. We were sharing her bed. We turned all the lights on, and it stopped. Absolutely nothing there. We go back to sleep somehow, and when we woke up in the morning, we talked about it. She told me that I was acting really strange in my sleep, almost thrashing around sometimes. I grabbed her face at one point, eyes wide open, and what I think is the worst, I started shouting in a different language. I don't remember any of this. She assumed it was my native language, Welsh, as she doesn't speak it, but she recorded some of it, and that was not Welsh. It sounded Celtic, but definitely wasn't a language that I speak or know. That whole day I had crushing anxiety and a deep sense of dread, but that could have just been because of my flight later that day. My immediate reaction is to think that something from the graveyard followed us back. And that language I was shouting, it could have been Gaelic. I don't know, but safe to say, I was glad I was able to leave the country that day, although sad to leave my best friend. Nothing has really happened since then, but weirdly, the acting strange in my sleep after haunted places has happened before. As a young kid, I went on a school trip, and every Welsh listener will know when I say there's a legend of the Black Nun haunting the halls of that place. I'd like to know too.
I would like to know. Please let us know.
One of the nights I was acting similarly, thrashing, shouting, even seeming like I was fully awake having conversations with people in a different accent. It's happened a few other times as well, but too many to list on here. Bear in mind, I'm not a sleepwalker. If I talk in my sleep, then it's usually a small mumble, not a shout, and I sleep as still as the dead. I don't know if spirits think I'm an easy person to attach to, or if I'm just sensitive to energy, but I don't like it. It's a bit too creepy and close to home for me. I hope you enjoyed my story, and you have full permission to read this on the podcast. I have a few more stories if you'd like to hear. Thank you for letting me tell my story. I hope you both are well, and best wishes, Robyn.
Robyn. What?
Is that a power you'd like to harness?
No.
Speaking of powers we'd like to harness?
No.
That's horrifying.
If you
to
did
use
that,
you in your sleep.
If you did that, I'm letting you know now.
You have done something like that to
You're
me.
going to need reconstructive surgery the way I'm going to punch you so hard.
Oh my gosh, you violent person.
Because do not
horrible.
Start yelling in another language at me. I'm not even using I'm kicking, I'm thrashing, I'm punching, I'm shoving you. That is so scary.
Yeah,
that was violent of me. I'm sorry. I'm feeling very violent.
Like you're in fight or flight mode?
Yes, realistically, I would freeze though. So just know I'd be staring at you going,
You've done something like that to me
I know,
before. You didn't yell, but you were whispering something that I couldn't understand.
And I'd do it again. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh,
that is really scary.
Crazy, with your eyes wide open too.
That is horrifying. I have a big fear of that.
I don't know how your friend was just like, it's okay, go back to sleep. Because that is so scary.
I get scared talking to someone when they just wake up because I don't know if they're awake.
Mm-hmm.
I get really nervous. I'm like, if I'm talking to Ryan, I'm like, hey, da-da-da. And if he's talking back to me, but he looks a little tired, I'm like, are you awake? And I don't know why it freaks me out. It makes me very scared.
That's weird.
It's weird that I'm scared?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry.
No, but it just makes me feel weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not really talking to you. Who are you?
You're talking to their subconscious, hopefully.
Yes. All right, move on. I just got a sick feeling in my stomach.
Okay, we have one more story. Also unsigned. So anonymous. Anonymous number, whatever we're on.
Like 5 or 6.
Hey y'all, I've recently found your YouTube channel and absolutely adore you both. Thank you so much for the stories you put out. I have a ton of stories of my upbringing with the paranormal and thought I'd start by sharing some of that with y'all. Here's a story of the time my sister and I went exploring one night. My sister and I used to be thrill seekers, always looking for a new adventure, always wanting to find cool spots to hang out or haunted places to visit. We wanted to visit a bridge somewhere in Texas when we were living in Killeen. I can't remember the name of it now. My sister just told me she'd heard people had some paranormal experiences there at night. So we hopped in the car. After about an hour drive, GPS takes us down a dark road in the middle of nowhere. Upon turning onto the road, there was an old building that looked like a church and a single streetlight. The only light we would see for the next mile. As we're driving carefully down the road in pitch black nothingness, her and I simultaneously get this uncomfortable feeling, as if something bad were about to happen. We keep joking about how eerie it seems, but play it off as just getting in our heads, knowing we're about to visit a haunted bridge. The hair on the back of my neck was standing, and we both started to feel sick, as if all the energy from our bodies were being drained. Then, the lights of her car start flickering. I mean, dashboard, headlights, radio, everything. We looked at each other and stopped the car, contemplating turning back around. The only reason this is even a discussion is because this is the sort of thrill we were always looking for. Why would we turn back now? This is what we wanted. A little spooky fun. We'd had many paranormal experiences growing up, so this kind of thing wasn't new to us. Maybe we just wanted validation that ghosts were real and it was never just our imaginations. I get this heavy feeling in my chest. I start looking around us to try and see if there was anything out there, and I realize we are stopped in front of a big gate that says cemetery. We knew nothing of there being a cemetery in the area. We got the sense that we were genuinely in danger. Fight or flight kicked in, and she immediately puts the car in reverse and backs all the way out of the road. We got our validation. Ghosts are real. Cool. Never went looking for this kind of thing again. Fast forward years later, I don't know what brings up that memory, but I start wanting to know more about what happened that night. Come to find out, other people have had near-death experiences near that bridge around the same time frame we had gone. There's an old, crazy veteran living in the area who doesn't like people near his property. If you go late at night, maybe it's his paranoia, but he's been known to shoot at people. Is it possible the spirits in that cemetery were causing our car to freak out as a way of deterring us? My sister and I feel something was there protecting us that night, telling us to turn back, or something life-changing was going to happen.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Not the veteran shooting at people,
no. But ending on a happy note, that they were saved.
That you
from
were,
whatever it could have been.
You were told to turn around and you listened and you're safe to tell us the story now. Whew, okay, I'm glad that didn't end in a very dark way. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about what we just discussed over this whole episode.
Okay.
I'm feeling very unsettled, very sick.
Very scared. I told you at the beginning, I said, I always say that like it's good. This one was creepy. There was just a lot of like things that really like gnaw at my spirit, you know?
I haven't felt like I was going to throw up during an episode in a while. I got that feeling like there was thank you. There was a point where I was like trying not to gag.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a rough one. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
so
everyone.
much.
These were really good. These are really scary.
Glad
and
you're here.
There's so much more coming.
Yep. There's more tomorrow.
Oh yeah, our special guest tomorrow. Some of you have already guessed it.
But I'm excited for y'all to see.
I'm excited for you to see our costumes.
I loved the costumes.
They're really good. If you were to ask me, they're good.
Will you wear wigs? We'll leave you there.
If you like this video, please like it, share it with your friends if you feel compelled to do so, and subscribe for more. We've got, like we said, another one coming tomorrow, and then more on Monday, the rest of the month. Very excited about it.
More on Patreon.
More on Patreon. If you like that, it's patreon.com/Ghosteas. We're always posting little things over there.
If you're not tired of us yet, we got a lot.
We do. We got a back catalog, so you can just sign up and get all of the things we've been posting since June.
Oh, goodness. It's been that long?
It has. Yeah, I was looking at it today.
Wow.
Wild.
If you're still here, leave a pumpkin emoji because we are drinking pumpkin spice tea.
That's a good one. All right. Other than that, we will see you tomorrow.
Goodbye.